Hello everyone, thanks to the power of the internet, I get to talk with you, and today we're going over Lisciafael and Alden, aka the death of my creativity in deck building. But that's mainly because of the nations that these two belong to have basically been boiled down to order and just their piles. You can pilot any of these decks with just their piles and be done, and be damned about their support. I'm going to move my camera a little bit. Because let's go over Lisciafael, who is very simple. It's kind of reminiscence of MLB with its Divine skill, but once per turn, when it attacks while not boosted, Energy Blast 3, 2 or more rear guards into your soul, and it gets Drive +1, pretty decent. And it gets 5k for each card put into the soul for this cost, so that's plus 10k, which is kind of a boost. But its Divine skill is its main point. At the end of the battle, this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit. If you have 6 or more in soul, which you probably should by this point, for Counterblast 1, you restand, you get Drive -2, but for the rest of the fight, Lisciafael, all of them, get power plus 5k and a crit. Funny enough is Blagmire shuts off this red text, so please try to play the chess game of don't just shotgun this, even though you're all your instincts and you really just should just do it. Fire it off. We have 2 more cards that at least you'll see in the deck, because it's the only ones worth playing. We've got Albina, grade 3 or greater, gets power plus 5k. That's active during your opponent's turn too, so it's just a 15k. And when your Vanguard attacks, if your front row has no other rear guards, Counterblast 1, stand this, it gets another 10k if your opponent's grade 3 or greater. That's pretty good, it's just a restander. But requires you to have no other front row. But I mean, 2 swings from this, 2 swings from your Vanguard during Divine. Like, that's a lot of attacks. Like, swing 1, swing Vanguard, that restands, so does your Vanguard, so swing with this, swing with your Vanguard, stand it again. And because that 10k says, end of turn, oh, never mind, it's once per turn, imagine what happens when I read conditions. And the only other thing in this deck is the grade 1, mainly because it's a 13k booster, but when it is moved into the soul by your Vanguard's ability, if you didn't countercharge, you countercharge, and if you noticed, like your Restander took that, your Divine skill takes it. So it's just a real good resource energy. We're not playing the grade 3, because it's just not as good as the rest of the pile, but we're going to go over it when it's placed. If you're on your grade 3, Counterblast, draw a card, it's an 18k booster. And if it's put into soul by your ability, your Vanguard gets another plus 5k. So technically you can get plus 15, so not too bad. And then we have the Ride Line grade 2. When it's rode upon by a grade 3 or greater, you can CB or EB3, and draw a card, and then soul charge 1. So it's kind of like the Energy Cycler. And then everything got a 13k booster and a 10k shield. I'm not really going to go over the grade 1, because you just play Wallista. Because nothing like draw 2 15k Vanguard just running the pile. This just is like Rancor Chain meets Orphist World. It's just really good. But because of this, and people realizing that Lyrical is also a pile, this one has gone up in price. You can run the grade 0 gem if needed, but this one's just better. And of course, we got 3 of her, because Soul Blast, which a lot of people will be counterintuitive, but really, when your Vanguard just says 2 or more rear guards, you can technically soul charge 5 during your turn. You can afford getting rid of one for an extra draw. And if you Persona Road, CB1, choose your Vanguard, and it gets a continuous, all your front row gets plus 5k. So that really helps with, this will probably be in the front row, your Restander will be in the front row, so you're just getting those little extra numbers. Because if you really do the math, when you put in the rear guards, this will get another 5k, so that's 23k if you Persona Road this turn, which you have to. That's 33, not to mention anything else that's going to go off. Your Restander is going to be 30. When it restands, it will be 40. So you're hitting decent numbers. We got Halloween variant. When it's placed on rear, other than by unit's ability. If you played in normal order. Oh no, it's not like we have some of those in the deck. You can once again Soul Blast 1, which you really shouldn't be afraid about because your Divine skill is only a once thing. And because the main mechanic of this deck says just Soul Charge 2 or more whenever you want, you're kind of really open to use it all you want. You look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 card less than your Vanguard, so basically anything, call it a rear. If it's a unit, if you put it into your hand, but if it's in normal order, you can add it to hand and then shuffle the deck. When this unit attacks grade 3 or greater, if it was placed this turn, CB1 draw gets 10k, so it is just the better grade 3, even though that one gives 5k to the Vanguard when it's put in Soul. Hey, draw 1, 20k attack. Of course, we finally have Persia. You can Energy Blast all you want, because you're not really using it. I mean, kind of 3 for Lisciafael, but you can also just Counter Blast if you want. It's really up to you. But yeah, just draw your card. Of course, you can... I play this one because it's funny. Because you can just choose your Restander. And like I said, during your Persona Ride turn, if you proc her, Wish, this is just a 50k attacker, which is pretty funny to me. Most likely, off of Keter's back, you're just going to play like another order. Of course, we have Yuika, because why wouldn't we? Because it is, once again, a 13k booster, but more importantly, if you don't want to put things into Soul, you can just Yuika bounce. So you can do that, hey, let's get that, 5k to the front row again. Let's get that extra draw. It's just mainly these two. You can, if you want, Persia, because it's still choose one of your units, gets 5k, and then at the end of your turn, goes back to your hand. So, not as impactful. Of course, we have the Counter Charger, because we can just pay Counter Blast for all of this, and then just get it back. And we have an Energy Charger order. It has to be your grade 3 Vanguard, Counter Blast 1, but all your front row units get plus 5k. Unga meet Bunga. Good defensive order. This just reads draw 2, and you need to draw a lot with this deck because you're either soul charging everything to, have your 6 soul, soul blast, put 2 or more to get the extra drive and whatnot. And of course this to use the Ballista. 3 draw, because once again, you're not running all this draw power, not to just draw more. And 8 crit, because you're an extra drive deck. So, yeah, that's basically the basics of Lisciafael. Who would have guessed it's a pile deck? This is like a basic build of Alden. It's using the new ride line. Here, let me bring up his stuff. I kind of don't like that it became Gem Knights. Like, the deck needed it. It makes it a little bit better. But I appreciated it. It had its own kind of feel with showing off different grades, using off different grades. But hey. Soul Charge, 10k. Cool. If it was another trigger, at least it gets the 10k. 13k booster, I think. You gotta stand things, draw cards. That's just old Alden support. So cool. But here we go. If it has Alden, 13k booster, gets another 2k. If it's specifically boosting Alden, making it 15k, but you Soul Charge 1. When this unit intercepts, gets that 20k shield. Wasn't that one cool? The Ride Line, it's rode upon by Alden. Soul Blast 1, top 5, choose a grade 3 or less, call it. And then everyone got the 13k booster, 10k shield. The grade 1, when it's rode upon by the grade 2, choose up to one grade 2 or greater card from among them. Put it into your hand. If you didn't, energy charge 2. I'm more of a fan of the original Alden one because it was a lot more generic, but hey. Now what does our big protection boy do? Well, Gem Knight things. When a card would be called by this unit's ability to rear with a unit, you return the unit that's being called upon back to hand instead of into drop. When this unit attacks, CB1, draw, choose a card from your hand, call it a rear, and it can't be retired by your opponent's card effects and gets 10k. This only specifically stops retiring. The key word retire. And of course, Divine Skills. Soul Blast 1, top 7, choose 2 cards, call them to rear. Can't be chosen by card effect. Okay. The only really good thing to come out of Alden support is this grade 3, because when it's placed on rear, Energy Blast 4, draw a card. Hell yeah. But more importantly, when another unit is placed on the rear that this unit is on by the ability of your grade 3 Alden, that placed unit gets an 10k. If your opponent's grade 3 or greater, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your rear guards and stand it. Nice. Restanding abilities. So, of course, we have T-Fault, we have Selgon, we got Pot of Greed, actual Pot of Greed in here. Just draw, just early game rush. The other things you might not recognize, because no one played Alden except like one person that I consulted on this for a more niche build, but this is probably more streamlined, is just another Alden support. 15k. If it was placed by an ability this turn, it gets plus 15 instead of plus 5, so it becomes 25. This one's kind of my personal favorite. It's Tunar. If you attack while boosted, you can throw it into Soul, which kind of fixes some of the Soul issue this deck has, but you also countercharge 1, which this deck also needs. And it's not like you can't see this. Like, you don't have to proc Selgon on the first boost. You can, like, call over her, stand, sell, swing with this boosted. Because don't forget, it's just after the attack it boosted. It doesn't have to hit. This isn't part of Stocheo. We got Topaz because it's just another shield value, but you can also look at the top 5 to get a rear of your choosing. And I threw in Bringer of New Style because this is really cool Alden support, because during your turn, your Vanguard is Alden. It's in 8k, it's 6k because when another unit is placed on rear by the ability of your Vanguard Alden, counterblast 1, choose a rear guard and stand it. So you can swing with a full column, call over this, stand the whole column back up. That's criminal. Especially because everything. You might need more boosters, but there's not a lot of good options outside of the boy. Massive restands. So what's to help more restand? The red OT. Just go ham. Just keep swinging. Get like 8 attacks off. Do it. Use all of your CB. Front triggers, because you're calling things to the front row. They're getting massive power. 8 crit, 4 heal. There's not much more you need to know about these two decks. Just play the pile. Just like every single deck. Throw in a few things that say their keyword, like if your grade 3 Vanguard is, you know, Alden Lisciafael, it works. It just works. But that's basically all you need to know about these decks. What do I personally think about them? Alden's pretty cool. I wouldn't really call it protection, because I can still, as a Messiah player, go, yeah, cool, you called this. It can't be retired. Lock. I can still choose the rear guard. I forget the grade 2 in Dark States, but it's, hey, put them on bottom of deck. Get rid of them. Do it. I find Senka's more of a defense protection one than Alden himself. And for the cat girl, she's cool, I guess. Restanding MLB. Yeah. I can't like her for the sole fact I rap battled against her on Twitter. That was fun. Remember that. But thank you for making it past my ramblings. If you have any questions about these, please let me know. If I have more audio issues, yell at me. I'm still incredibly bad at what I do. But yeah, thank you for watching.